Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today, I'm going to be taking a deep dive into the new featured banner with Aerith and Lucia, celebrating Easter and all of its glory. I'm going to be talking about all my thoughts on the banner, where I think these weapons will be relevant. I'll be talking about the R abilities, we'll look at the costumes, all the fun stuff, and then ultimately I'm going to give you guys my opinion on whether or not I think this is a must-pull banner or whether or not you should hold off. Alright, that being said, let's go over to the draw, let's check it out. Thankfully, this is the first banner we've had in quite a while that is not limited, so I will preface this by saying that everything here, except for the costumes, is going to be fully wishlistable not long after this banner goes off banner, which is going to be sometime towards the end of April. Alright, so that being said, we're going to start it the same way I normally do. So the first thing I want to do is I want to look at the animations of the weapons, and then we're going to check out the costumes. Alright, so here's Aerith. It is an AoE fire attack. Does look cool. It is like kind of like a fire tornado. Here is Lucia's, which also looks pretty cool. It looks like a triple shot right there. So both of them look pretty good. Aerith does look so cute right there, let's be real. Alright, so this is going to be her Easter costume. The weapon, I mean, it is definitely in the spirit of Easter. I like the little blue ribbon, but other than that, not exactly my thing. I've never really been so much into like the holiday banners and stuff like that, except for maybe like Tifa in the Christmas costume. That was always a good one, even though I didn't actually pull for that banner. I do like her little hat right here. It's like sitting kind of crooked on her head. She's got the little ears. She looks super cute with the little blue necktie choker right there. She's got the flowers on her dress, and we have like Applebot is really good at designing these costumes so that when you move them, they really do look real, which is pretty awesome. She does have the kind of old-fashioned styled shoes on with the kind of knee-up socks going on. So all in all, I think it's pretty solid. I'd give this one like around an 8 out of 10 personally. Now let's go over and let's check out Lucia's. This one is a little bit more my style, not gonna lie. She does look really freaking cool. Like trying to scroll out more, but it doesn't look like we can really do that. Alright, so honestly, I'm digging the vibe here. I think the gun looks absolutely wicked. I love the white with the kind of bronze inlay on it, and like the actual kind of feathers coming off with the blue and the purple rose. It looks sick. I love the little black armband she's got going on, the black vest with the kind of like made fruffle coming out of her upper part of her chest area. The skirt looks absolutely awesome with the kind of gold chains right here, the black bow ties. It's got the tails right here, the little bunny tail as well for added measure. If you look on her leg, she's got a knife down. A knife down here with the pull-up stockings. I mean, she's wearing the black heels right here. She looks awesome. Let's be real. This is Lucia's best costume in the game, hands down. She looks freaking awesome. 10 out of 10. Really, really, really love it. All right. That being said, let's take a look at the banner and check it out. So on the first stamp card, it is typical as usual. You will get a choice of your weapon on the 6th stamp, whether that's the egg staff or the rose musket. And on the 12th stamp, you can choose between Aerith's costume or Lucia's costume. All right. Now, if we go to the second page, unlike the limit break draw banners or the limited ones where you can get weapons in the 2nd, 4th, and 8th slot, I believe, this one is not going to have that. So even if you were to pull all the way to page 2 on this, there's a chance you only get a single copy of one of the weapons and both costumes, right? So in that regard, it is not quite as good, although everything here is wish listable, like I said, except for the costumes. Now, let's get in and look at the actual weapons themselves, all right? So how about we go in here, and I'm going to do Aerith's first, okay? And let's check it out. So this is 5-star, base level 120, 191 physical attack, 278 magic attack, so a pretty good starting magic attack stat. Does have 182 healing. Its R abilities are going to be boost HP and fire potency. So in terms of a sub-weapon, this weapon is going to be fantastic. It can work on both physical and magic characters. So if you are pulling for this, this is going to be a great weapon to use on other characters if you're not necessarily using it on Aerith. Now, the command ability itself is called Helical Flame. It has a ATB charge of 4 ATB. It deals 340% magic fire damage with a range of all enemies. However, it does have the mechanic that we've recently seen on Sephiroth's Protector's Blade, where it gains extra 1.3 times damage when facing off against a single target, which if we take, now let's go to the OB10, if we take roughly 1.3 times of 630%, it's going to be roughly around 810% damage to a single target enemy, meaning that Aerith now has a more than viable fire weapon along with a fire arcanum costume. So it is looking pretty good. If you do not have Cloud Sky Splitter or his or Zack's new Limit Break Draw costume, if you don't have any type of Fire Arcanum costume or weapon, this is definitely going to be a great weapon to pull for. However, if you do have Cloud Sky Splitter / costume or Zack's Arcanum set for fire, I think that this is by no means a must pull. I'm not seeing anything here that the other Fire Arcanum sets can't do. It is in certain ways better because it does hit AoE and single target damage or if not, let's go see Sky Splitter and we'll see if the damage is how comparable the damage is. So if we go over here and we check out Sky Splitter, I have it down here around OB8. All right. We take it to OB10, it's going to be 850% on a single target enemy. So this one's going to be hitting 40% less. However, it can hit multiple enemies at the same time, which does kind of make up for it. Sky Splitter at OB10 is going to have a fire potency of 39 with physical attack 46. However, the physical attack does limit it as a sub-weapon to who you can put it on. Whereas Aerith's weapon right here, if we go back to it, if we take that to OB10, it's going to be HP and fire potential. So you can put it on any character. That's just going to be it. So yeah, it does have more usability in a widespread area, but it's not something that you're going to necessarily need if you pulled for Zack's Limit Break Draw weapon or if you have Cloud's Fire Arcanum set. All right, now if we go to the support materia, it does have some pretty fantastic ones. We do have magic ability damage plus 20% for the first materia slot, magic ability damage plus 20% for the second, and then the rare and fabled all cure spells 1, which is cure spells target all. So if you slot a cure materia in this third slot, that spell will turn into an AoE with the reduction of 40% healing potency. So this is a fantastic weapon all around. Definitely, I would say the best fire weapon. Zack's is pretty close. It's also good, but I do think that this one is better. Now, I will say that I do think that this is more of a Whales banner than a free-to-play or even a minnow or a dolphin banner. The reason I say that is because even people that were saving a ton of crystals, like I hit the Rebirth crossover anniversary with like 125k crystals, and I had really good luck pulling, but still I'm down to 13k, right? And so most people are pretty drained at this point. And I think that this is kind of like a treat for more higher spending players. These are not, from my glance at these weapons right now, these are nothing that we need. These are not must-pull weapons, okay? Now, if you love these costumes, if you love Easter, you know, that's a different story. I'm giving you my opinion based on what I think is a must-have for the game and what I think is not a must-have, especially when something is wishlistable in the future. So let's go back down to base 5-star 120. It'll do 340% magic fire damage. This will probably bump up 100% at OB1, so with a single dupe, it should be doing 440% or roughly something like that. Now, if you take it to OB6, it's going to be doing 530%, add 1.3 times damage, and that's going to be doing 680% to a single target enemy, while also taking 40 boost HP and 27 fire potency, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, if we take this up to OB10, we're getting 46 boost HP, so only 6 points more at OB10 from OB6, but the fire potency is going to go up 12 points, which is pretty substantial. The magic attack also doesn't increase too much, so this is a weapon that I think will definitely be stronger at OB10, but it's definitely going to be great at OB6 as well. This is going to be something that I wishlist in the future, but I won't be pulling for right now. I think that there's definitely a new character on the horizon, and I think these are meant to kind of lure us in. Alright, so that's going to cover the Egg Staff. Let's go over to the Rose Musket right here. Alright, so the Rose Musket at base 5-star level 120 will do 390% magic fire damage with a range of a single target. When Lucia's HP is above 50%, it will do a magic defense break. Potency mid, max potency high at base 5-star, so that's always fantastic. Now, if we take this to OB6, it is going to instant high tier the magic defense down. However, keep in mind that if her HP is under 50%, it's just not going to trigger whatsoever. On top of that, the damage is not the greatest, I would say. If we take it to OB10, the damage will be doing 620%. So this is definitely a good damaging weapon, but this is more of like a debuffing weapon, and it only does magic defense. I feel like this weapon would be more alluring if it didn't have the HP what's the word there? If you didn't have this HP is 50% or more, magic defense is decreased stat on it. So that, to me, I've never really liked it. When I was doing the EX2 Bahamut fight, it could be kind of a pain using Kuja's Spirit Blade because you're constantly going down. Sometimes you get it off, sometimes you don't. On hard fights, it's more recognizable than on easier ones. That being said, the weapon is still going to be pretty great. It gives Lucia more viability. A high tier instant cast magic defense down at OB6 is always going to be good. The R abilities, however, on the other hand, let's see here. At base 5-star, we have boost magic ability potency plus 30, which is going to put this at 45% on the attack stance command gauge, which is pretty substantial, plus the boost fire potency at 12. Now, if we get it up to level OB6, boost magic ability potency will go to 40, which is going to put that attack stance command gauge at 60%, pretty solid. Fire potency to 27, which will get you fire ability potency at 4, based just on that. And at OB10, we will be getting boost magic ability potency 46, boost fire potential 39. So the R abilities on both of these weapons are fantastic. This is a great weapon to be slotting into the sub weapons for Zack's new limit break draw. So if you're one of those people that love Zack and you went for that weapon, I don't recommend pulling this now, but I do recommend wishlisting this in the future because it is going to be a fantastic sub weapon for him. Now the support materia here is going to be magic ability damage plus 20%, magic ability damage plus 20%, and triangle sigil boost break right here. I always love the sigil breakers. I think they're fantastic on weapons. They make fights a lot easier, and the more you have, the more kind of leniency you have in different builds. But other than that, I will say that Aerith's weapon is the better of the two, but I think that Lucia's costume looks better of the two. Now, costumes being said, let's go ahead and check them out. Let's go in here. We'll look at Aerith's first. Hers is called the Classic Coney, and this is kind of the first of its kind. So we have the boost magic ability potency, and this is like the separate one that I believe stacks like an Arcanum. It should be exactly the same as what Sephiroth had on his new costume, So let's go check that out just to double check. So I'll go to party, I'll go to co-op, and I will go down and we will check my Sephiroth build. Okay, so, oh no, it's not. Okay, so this is boost magic ability mastery. Okay, so this is the Arcanum for the non-elemental DPS. Aerith's is not that. So if we go back here and we go to the details, all right, and we go to Aerith's costume, hers is boost magic ability potency. So that would be something that would stack with, for what we just saw, as Lucia's R ability right here. All right, so that's going to stack with that. Still a fantastic option on a costume. It is really good with the Flame Blade Arcanum. I think that more or less this is, might be, it's definitely a very, very solid option for a Fire Arcanum set. So if you don't have one, I highly recommend pulling. If you do, I think that you can hold off for now, as these are meant to be a bait because there is a new character coming out. That is my guess. I do not know that for certain, but that is my guess. We are getting the Frostblade Arcanum right there, and at boost magic ability 10, just with the costume, we are going to get the extra 15% here on the attack stance gauge. All right, last but not least, we have the Gothic Bunny for Lucia, which is a buff debuff extension costume. This is going to work great for Bald Eagle. It's going to work great for this weapon, which reduces magic defense. And then at the same time, we have the Flame Frost Rabbit Ears, which was something that was unique to Red 13's Hellhound costume from the Final Fantasy Rebirth crossover. So this is going to be great as well. So this is kind of a mastery, but for both fire and ice with resistances. So this costume is pretty fantastic for Lucia. I just don't really use Lucia for much. I feel like she hasn't had much viability in the game. But for those of you that do love Lucia and do use her, this is really going to open up her really well for your team if you do plan on using her. So that being said, should you pull or should you not pull? And I think that these weapons are... It seems like these weapons are meant to be to fight the bosses from the new Easter Gathering event. Now, I said this in my recent news update video, but I think that these weapons are specifically made for fighting what might be the new summon coming to the game. And if you guys don't want any information on things from the data mine regarding a new summon, then this is the time for you guys to peace from the channel. Thank you guys for checking it out up until this point, but I'm going to be talking about what may be coming in 3, 2, 1. All right. So from what I've heard, there is a new Shiva and Ramuh double summon that is going to be the next summon coming to the game. And from looking at both of these weapons in these costumes, it looks like these are going to be basically tailor-made for it. You know, we're going to need fire. Shiva is more resistant to physical attacks than magic ones. So you're going to want a magic user, right? So you wouldn't necessarily be using Cloud with Sky Splitter. And for those who didn't pull Glenn, I don't think there's that many who pulled Glenn on the Limit Break Draw costume. I think more people pulled for Cloud's set. You're probably going to be using Cloud with the Maritime Sword, right? Which means you won't be running fire with Cloud, which means you'll have to pick up fire with someone else, because Cloud will be hunting Ramuh while you'll need another character hunting Shiva, preferably a magic fire character. Aerith is going to fill this role perfectly, while at the same time Lucia will be perfectly complementing her, because I believe Shiva is going to take excessive damage from magic, especially with a magic defense down, and then you would also have Ramuh there where Cloud can back that up. So I think this is kind of like potentially a nudge for like higher level dolphins and whales, and they'll give them kind of like a little bit of an edge in the future content to come, because I think that for those of us that don't pull these, as of right now, I don't think that there is a necessary... There's nothing in the game where you need either of these costumes or these weapons. In my opinion, they are not a must pull. However, they do look cool, and they will have their use and viability in the future. That being said, if you do not have a Fire Arcanum set, I do highly recommend pulling for Aerith. If you Other than that, it's hard to recommend Lucia with just a magic defense down on the buff. However, the costume I think is what really sets Lucia apart. It's definitely going to be great, and I don't think that you will regret pulling for it. Although at the same time, this banner will end on April 21st. By that time, the 7-week half anniversary campaign will be over, and we will already know if there is a new character. So at the very least, guys, I recommend holding off on this banner. Wait till we find out if there's a new character. Normally, new characters bring new things to the game, and I think that it would be worth it and prudent to wait to see what that new character might be bringing to Ever Crisis, and then weigh them between the two, whether you want to go with the Easter banner or if you want to go with the new character set. That being said, I hope this video helped you guys today. That is my overall thoughts on everything. If you guys are going to be pulling on the banner, I wish you guys the best of luck. For all you new players out there that don't have a Fire Arcanum set, this one for Aerith is going to be fantastic. I promise you that. It's going to be great. If I didn't have now 2 Fire Arcanum sets, I would definitely be wanting to pull for Aerith's. So yeah, that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video today, if it was helpful, if it's helping you guys figure out whether or not you want to pull or not, and you're appreciative of it, don't forget to drop a like on the video. And if you're keen on future content, don't forget to sub to the channel as well. That being said, I hope you all have a wonderful night. Take care and peace.